Big Bad Toy Store has all of the latest and greatest kaiju collectibles, so evolve your collection and head on over to the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen today. Kaiju, turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It's going to be Steven here, and welcome to a review of a figure that leaked and didn't stop Hiya from... Anyway, welcome to a review of the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Shimo. That's right, from Godzilla Kong the New Empire, we have the new biggest, baddest mommy kaiju on the market, and she is here, and she is ready to claim a spot on your shelf. Just maybe she is, but at about $60 US MSRP, asterisk, is she going to arrive and bring a new ice age to terrorize all the kaiju you have, or should you just walk away from this very, very, very icy queen? Let's take a look to see whether or not she's going to be worth adding into your collection. And now I'm going to make mention a few times of the price point with the asterisk. Keep in mind, at the time of publication and time of making the review, we are right on the advent of the tariffs, which may or may not go into place. Well, everyone's preparing for them too, and we should accept that they probably are. So US MSRP at the time of solicitation and announcement and going up for order, $60. Unfortunately, she has not made U.S. landfall yet for U.S. distribution, and if you are looking to obtain her, period, end of discussion, she's going to have to come from China one way or another. So, unfortunately, retailers will have to either mark up, or when she arrives on your doorstep, you will have to pay more. So, let's hope situation sort of resolves itself, and as of now, let's assume $60. That being said, and I explained that way more than I needed to, we can make this section short, sweet, and to the point. First, let's talk about her cons. You're going to see this more so in the articulation section. Underneath her different points of articulation, you are going to see that the paint is a bit different color. It's almost yellow instead of that pinkish, full pearlescent paint that Shimo has. Throughout a few points of the figure, you can almost see brush hairs that have been stuck on Shimo, which is a little disappointing to say that mine has that. I don't know if they're all going to have that. Of course, that's automatically implied in every review. I'm talking about my unit, which, do keep in mind, you could have gotten mine. Yes, indeed that you could have. And then there's just going to be miscellaneous variances between unit to unit, like the teeth paint. Mine, not exactly all that stellar. Now, something that I would like to make a point of is that if you do have any sort of issue with any of the things that may be wrong with Shimo, let's take a Marvel Legends release for an example, a Build-A-Figure or a deluxe figure, if you will. So Shimo is going to have two releases. They'll both be at about $60 US MSRP, so factoring in cost, Hiya is going to definitely be looking to get their money back, and they'll include accessories for that next release. So, if we have a deluxe Build-A-Figure in the Marvel Legends lineup, like let's say Venompool for an example, Hasbro did release that figure twice, admittedly once in a Build-A-Figure wave, which assumedly they made more money back per unit in that wave, and then they went ahead and they released Venompool on his own. And that Venompool figure was about $40. More affordable, a bigger, bulky figure compared to your average Marvel Legends, so it is a somewhat apt comparison here, even when we factor in the Toho tax or whatever else you would like to say. That being said, because that is an argument that I have seen, Shimo's paint application and overall shelf presence can blow any of those out of the water. Shimo's pearlescent paint application is absolutely stunning and very similar to the Spiral Studios one. Depending on where you are looking at this figure and lighting situation, she may look a bit more yellow, she may look a bit more blue, a bit more pink. It's very, very awesome that Hiya was able to get such a nice level of paint detail on this figure. The eyes are smaller than any Godzilla that I have ever seen, and they look just fine. When it comes to the nice icy blue spiky plates on Shimo, whatever you want to call them, yes, they are not using translucent plastic. They're using nice different shades of metallic blues and even purples here and there. But not only that, there's a nice little bit of blue just spray at the base that really helps to bring out the overall coloring scheme of Shimo here and to help bring this icy queen to life. Not to make mention that she has some blue nails. Shimo looks fantastic, and not to mention very accurate given how soon she was from announcement of the figure to release. Now, articulation, but before we get there, I do fondly remember when Shimo was first announced, actually leaked. It was actually very cool. You know, everyone was actually looking at her, trying to see the articulation cuts and where everything would be introduced, including her little fingers here, which actually is probably my most favorite part of the figure. And some folks were trying to figure out whether or not it was AI. And there were quite a few people, interestingly enough, influencers, content creators who quickly tried to sweep it under the rug and get rid of the leaks, and really tried to make everyone think that if the leaks did not go away, get swept away, then Hiya may lose the Godzilla license and they may stop making Godzilla action figures. And also to not post stuff for social media clout, despite the fact that that's kind of what it was. But anyway, we're here a year later, and we have this beautifully well-engineered and designed Shimo action figure. And if you're watching this now, do stay tuned, because we have 91 Goji and King Ghidorah, both of which look absolutely stunning. But the jaw hinge on Shimo really kind of makes it seem like she has a bit of an underbite. I don't know, maybe that's just me? Nevertheless, kind of seems like her jaw juts out just a little bit too far when she opens and closes her mouth. But again, maybe that's just me. Now, for her tongue. Her tongue is rather interesting. It's kind of like Godzilla 2014, to be more so specific. Let me see if I can just get up underneath there. There we go. See, I know what I'm doing. Now, the tongue is definitely on a hinge. It opens and closes up and down with the mouth. But when you do go to close the mouth, it tends to want to go up and get stuck up there. And that is because the tongue is actually on the same peg that the jaw is on. So it's kind of like slid in the middle. It's kind of like coming along for the ride. So as you go ahead and you move this, it gets stuck. So you're going to have to go in there and manually move it, of course, but that's why so frequently you may see it stuck to the roof of her mouth. Now, for the neck system, head plugs in on a ball joint, look up, down, left, right, twist and turn, no problem. Same thing for the base of the neck, so she can look left and right, look down about that far, and look up about that far. Because of this little batch of crystals here, that's going to block the range of movement, just like so. Now, if we do take a look at her arms, these are going to be pretty sweet, because at first I thought these were just going to be swivel hinges, but taking a look on the inside a bit more, it does appear that those are ball joints that are going to be in there. At least that's what it does appear to be, because we can get a little bit of tilting movement, which is really nice. So in terms of doing a T-pose and getting her shoulders to do that, that's going to be about the extensor range of the movement to the side. And then spinning around, of course, we can do that. Now, we do have dedicated bicep swivels, so we can, hold on folks, let me get a good grip on her, spin these around like so. Now, do we get a little bit of rocking movement? We do. I'm inclined to believe that these are on ball joints. However, I will assume, I haven't disassembled Shimo, that this is just going to be a straightforward peg, and this is just kind of unintentional rocking movement. We'll go with that. Hinges at the elbow. Basically, that's what we have. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any sort of rocking movement there, but we do get little swivels as well. So for the elbow movement range, we do get about that much. Do take note that there are specific cuts in the sculpt, so this way you can get just a little bit better range of movement, which is always good to see. For the forearm, we do get swivels as well that can spin all the way around, so that is why I'm saying keep in mind for the sculpt, so this way you can max out that range of movement. As we continue on down, this little cut here does have a ball joint, so we can rock and roll and all that fun stuff. And then for the hands, the wrists, we do get hinge, forward and back, and then we do get swivels where the hands plug in. For the fingers, this is really cool. We get hinges for the main fingers, bend forward and back, and we do get swivels for them as well. so we can spin them around. So this way she can look at her nails and all that fun stuff. And then for the thumb, we do get a hinge. It's best to show you kind of like this at the base. And then we get another one right here. So she has posable thumbs. Right. Cool. So that can definitely help her hold stuff, and you can do a whole bunch of shenanigans. For her main body, she can only go up about that far, and then she can definitely crunch, and that is going to be her main ticket for articulation. Okay? Now, what they did here for Shimo, where the SH Monster Arch sort of has a, okay, I'm skipping ahead to the figure fight here, has sort of a pointless back flap. Here, we do have a couple of cuts in the actual sculpt to help align with the spikes, so this way they line up perfectly fine with no issues. Now, if you're thinking, well, can I get away with the, no, unfortunately you can't. So it does line up perfectly. Do keep that in mind. Now, since this is going to be a ball joint for each one, you can rock and rotate and turn around, and you can get some goofy poses with Shimo, and that is more so going to expose an issue with the paint applications. You can definitely see that it looks like the sort of pinkish paint that's used for Shimo is not here, and it's more so just a pearlescent paint that is in the areas that are covered by the points of articulation. So it's kind of like a bad mask job, if you will. But yes, at the waist area, if you will, as well, we do have a ball joint too. Now, for the hind portion, we do have ball joints at the hips. As you can see there, it's actually double axis or barbell style. So we can actually do pull up and pull down and rotate in and rotate out, okay? Then for the knees, same kind of thing as we have up front, but they cascade down instead of sort of like this peanut sort of thing here, okay? And we do get swivel movement, a little bit of rocking. We do get a cut here as well. And then here we do get a hinge. This little ball is actually a hinge with swivel movement that allows for ankle rockers. Now, these have pretty much universally been loose. Like, I don't think I've had a single interaction with somebody who has Shimo already who's noted that these are not loose. However, you can sort of get her legs in a situation where you can get her to sort of prop herself up like that, and she can stand just fine. It may not be accurate because she doesn't stand in the movie, except for one scene where she bucks up. But aside from that, it's fine. So she can support herself. It's just kind of sort of difficult. For the tail, ball jointed movement, not a big deal. Somewhat limited. It could be better, but nevertheless, I think it's fine. It gets the job done. Nothing crazy over the top. I like it. I think that's about it for the articulation. I'm going to be honest with you here, folks. There are just some things, maybe just with the range of movement, maybe just with the tolerances in the hips. But other than that, I think Shimo is pretty solid. And if you know how to pose your figures, you're going to have some fun. Now, when we go into the accessories, she comes with none of them. It would have been very cool if she did come with a support stand because, once again, though she does not actually stand in the movie, it would have been great if she came with a support stand that was sort of like an ice-based, crystal-based sort of thing because they did that with a Stylus series, Shimo. But it would have also been just cool, just like on the principle of the matter, so when she stands up, she didn't tip over. Now, we're probably going to have like a frost breath, frost beam, whatever, Shimo release some point down the line, and that's probably going to have a beam effect as well. However, those nice little pingers that she has will definitely be able to help you in the long run if you are creative and you're not a stick in the mud and you use different accessories that you pull from other figures and you have yourself a nice, fun photo shoot. So, very fun with those extra fingers. Joints, you know what I'm saying here. Having a good time with Shimo definitely is easy to do. Size comparison time, and this is where, unfortunately, we just come into some difficulty here with Shimo, because folks think that she is absolutely, bar none, the biggest Titan kaiju monstrosity ever, and is like a world eater, like on par with a world serpent. And then there are other people who are like, yeah, bro, she's just like a little bit smaller than Godzilla evolved. More reasonable. So I'll leave it back to you. Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Shimo is $60 at US retail, asterisk. Quite frankly, Does she have some drawbacks? Yeah, she does. There are a couple of things there. However, just saying that she has those issues, which are going to be some of the loose joints, we do have some of the paint errors that I kind of pointed out here and there. I think that there are so many other good things about Shimo. Those can definitely be overlooked myself. That's just what I think. So if you're thinking about picking her up, you're not really going to have a bad time. I think this is a wonderful figure, and if you're on the fence about getting her, I would get her sooner than later.